9 years of waiting, and we finally got to play Dead Island 2. After such a long time, I had zero to none expectations towards this game, and yet I'm still kinda disappointed with the product that we received at the end of the day, and definitely this game should not have cost $70. Back in the day, I did play Dead Island 1, I enjoyed it, but it was not anything to write home about, and I was excited to see what Dead Island 2 is going to bring to the table. Meanwhile, we received plethora of other games like Dying Light 1 and 2, which were done by the same studio that gave us Dead Island 1 and Dead Island Riptide, that a lot of people seem to want to forget that this game even exists. The whole genre of zombies in the meantime managed to die, and Dead Island 2 released finally, and after the tribulations and passing the project between the different studios, we finally got the game, and it feels old, despite the fact that graphically this game sits on the really high level, even on the PlayStation 5, because I decided to play on the PlayStation 5 because the game is an Epic exclusive, and I did swear to myself that I'm not buying games on Epic. Even on PlayStation 5, this game looks really good. The rest of it, the gameplay, the construction of the world, etc., like everything feels like it belongs in 2010. But to be fully knowledgeable about the game I will be talking about, I decided to not only play through it, or even worse, speedrun it. No, I made a fucking platinum. And at this point, I'll never want to see this goddamn game again on my own eyes. I feel sick after completing so much bullshit just to get a trophy, but let's start from the beginning. At the start of the game, it is actually fun to play. The combat is not, if the combat is not going to scare you away, believe me, the combat is slower than the original Dead Island, but if it's not going to be a huge problem for you, it is going to be fine, at least for first couple of hours. It's incredibly fun to run around with a huge hammer or big sword and smashing or dismembering zombies left and right, and of course gore in this game has more care put into it than anything else. Each hit is going to leave a mark on the body. Even if the corpses lay down on the ground and you start hitting it with a sword, you start splitting open the meat and you're going to see the intestines inside of the body. And this type of gore actually, like, this elevates the gore in the video games to the new level. As for the rest of the game, you have multiple areas that you can run around on, and yes, I put more emphasis on run because there's not a single vehicle in the game that you can use, which is a really huge step down from the Dead Island 1, where you could actually drive around in a car or in a huge truck. In here, no, you just run around and you fight through the hordes of zombies that are constantly spawning. And about the spawning, sometimes the zombies can spawn in your face, like you see here on the clip. The zombies just appear out of thin air. But going through the locations, Bel Air, Santa Monica, Venice Beach, Ocean Avenue, and more, each area has a small open map that you can run around, fight zombies, and collect shit. And what do I mean when I say collect shit? Well, the game has kinda Ubisoft attitude to the gameplay. So there's plenty of saves and small side quests that require you to run around like a fucking idiot and search for the clues to get the item in question. And sometimes around the end of my journey with the game, after finishing main storyline, the game simply decided to stop showing me any marks for the missions on the map. So I had to use the internet to actually complete some side quests because the game didn't put any marks on my map. And what's even funnier, yes, on the YouTube vids from a lot of channels that I was actually getting my hints from, they had these indications in the game. I had none. Some of them showed but with a huge delay. But also, like, let's leave that aside. How is the main story of the game? Well, it's weak. At the beginning of the game, you seriously care about the storyline and you are drawn in, and maybe for an hour or two, but you will play listening to the dialogues, and the game tries to keep itself more or less serious, depending on how you look at it. And after the abandoning of the first hideout in Bel Air, because this is when the game is starting, the game kinda derails itself. Some incredibly stupid missions. Most of the stupidity is reserved for the side quests, but the main quests also have some sort of stupidity that actually makes it unable for me to take this game with any care, because the creators definitely didn't. Main protagonist does everything that everybody wants them to do, which is really dumb, and everybody knows it's dumb. The people that are giving you the quest, they know it's dumb, you know it's dumb, and you still have to progress and do them. One side quest has a director that wants you to bring him the alive zombies for the audition, that he wants to see how the zombies act, and then you have to kill them. So what is the point of seeing how they behave when you still have to kill them? I don't get it, but okay, this is the idea of the joke for the game, which the joke actually wastes your time. Other side quests, like collecting the organs from zombies for the artiste, how she called herself in the game. Also, there's a side plot with a vlogger that is a complete idiot and makes you, for an example, kick the zombies off the pier. From the main missions, there's a mission. Wait. These missions are less memorable than the side quests, so I have to think a bit. Oh, I got it. Saving the guy that went out into the night because he wanted to pick a trophy for his colleague. Okay? From the Hollywood. He wanted to take the statue back to her colleague, and you have to just go and save him in the middle of the night. Or, for an example, at one point they make you run through endlessly spawning zombies, so fighting them is pointless. Gotta run right through them, and at the end, when you meet the door, you get the information that you have to kill them all. This fight lasts around 10 minutes of constantly spawning zombies. I actually wanted to turn off the game because I was so tired of this bullshit. The game also suffers from a locked doors syndrome, constantly running around and to find the keys, find the card, find the battery. So it's so frustrating and making you go back and forth between some points, and you're like, this is basically the same problem that was encountered in Atomic Heart, with an exception that Atomic Heart actually had a story that was interesting. This game doesn't. So the main character in Dead Island actually says, with one of her one-liners, "Oh, closed doors. I would have been surprised if it wasn't." Or maybe, I don't know, did I piss off the gods of locked doors or something like that? And I'm like, saying in your game that the quest style in the game sucks doesn't solve the problem. You still are doing the quests that you know they suck, but you do it just for the sake of stretching out the gameplay, which is incredibly short for this game, because I was running around making side quests and finished the game in somewhere around 12 hours. So, excluding the side quests, the game is probably like 8-9 hours long. Also, somehow zombie apocalypse managed to burn all batteries and lock every door you encounter. So great apocalypse. For some side quests or opening up a safe, they went a step further. So, you see, you have a safe in the house on Beverly Hills. To open it, you need a key. So, how you find the key? You run around on all the Beverly Hills like a fucking maniac just for the sake of meeting this one named zombie that's going to hold the key in question, so you can pick it up and open the safe, which is going to give you a weapon that is probably dog shit anyway. Why was I even doing these things? Because I needed money to make the platinum trophy that I managed to actually do, and it wasn't really that hard of a thing to accomplish. But yeah, turns out this guy was on the other side of the map in some nothing place just in the middle of the street. So run around to open a worthless safe because we didn't have the idea how to make other content for the game, and it's notorious with this game. So characters, we have 6 characters to choose from, and believe me or not, every one of them has different lines. Most of the time they use different lines when they speak to other characters in the game. The dialogues are going more or less like they will go always the same, don't get me wrong, but the lines and the attitude they are spoken with are different according to the character you are playing as. So you have, most of them are really cringe, but for some reason I was fortunate enough to pick Amy, which was probably the best choice because she acts like a normal human being, maybe kind of younger human being, but kind of not really constantly cringe, which you cannot say about other characters. Like, for an example, you have Danny, which has a really strong British or maybe even Irish accent, and her lines cause back pain. I cringed so much, but I played the entire game as Amy and she wasn't throwing as many shitty one-liners as, for an example, Danny, when I was going through the footages of different people, because I'm not playing this game again as a different character. No room in hell. So, but how is the game itself? Like the game, like it may be summed up as you just run around smashing skulls. With time, more enemies are going to appear, but it's still not much enough to justify the like at the end of the day you have 8 types of enemies, and they are reused constantly through the game, to the point that even a boss fight is the regular type of enemy. So you have a boss fight, and then this boss fight that you fought against this one mutant is going to appear in the game. But the final boss, with no spoilers, is going to be one of the bosses that you played before. They didn't even made the special boss for the end. They just used the same boss fight that you played a couple of times before. I don't get it. Like, you just had to make one mutant that would be special for you to fight at the end of the game. It's not that hard, guys. And yes, like, some of them are really frustrating. Like, for an example, enemies like Butcher are one of the worst enemy designs I've ever encountered in a video game. You start fighting it, he will body you with 1 or 2 hits. You have to depend on the counter to defeat him, and when you get him to a certain point of health, he's going to try to escape from you. So you have to chase him. If you don't catch him in time, he is going to regenerate in full. So this fight may even be the fight that you're going to fight till the end of the time. That's kind of your personal apocalypse right there. And there's something that is also worth mentioning about the story of this game. The game, with no spoilers of course, the game doesn't really have an ending. It feels like it ends in the middle of the story with no cliffhanger, no nothing. It just ends, and that's it. Nothing is explained. Some major story plot points are not even finished. There's a really big story plot point with a couple of characters that appear through the game, and they are like not explored at all. They just appear a few times. They are really important, it would seem, but this goes nothing, and it feels like it's a DLC baiting, and I am so tired of this practice because I want to play the full game and not pay you additional money to finish the storyline that I was promised in the standalone game that already costs $70. It is so fucking stupid. One of the worst things that you can do is finishing your game in the game story in the DLCs, and this actually feels like this game is trying to do just that, or maybe they just wanted to fucking push this game out of the door because it was so many years. It was 9 years since we announced it, so we have to push it out, and we know Deep Silver is not really good at handling games, and this was really huge thing, this game being constantly in development, and I think they just wanted to finish and be done with it, and from people to stop complaining when we are going to see Dead Island 2. Another huge problem that this game has, it gives you no time to explore. As I said, the zombies are constantly spawning to the point they spawn in front of your eyes. Even if you clear the zombies in the area, they are going to constantly spawn. They are going to come out of the sewers or maybe from the sand, but also going to appear in front of your eyes. And they are going to give you no time to peacefully explore some areas that you would actually like to explore. Why would you go to the lengths of I don't know, actually animating zombies coming out of the sewers, etc., and pull the crap of zombies spawning right in front of you? Like, I genuinely don't understand. There's a plenty of bugs in the game, like disappearing enemies. When you turn your camera back, you see that the enemies are no longer there. Kicked skin under the textures and left only a skeleton. That was something that I started laughing like a maniac. I don't believe that even happened. And checkpoint system is one big bug in the game. The whole checkpoint system is one huge joke, and I don't know how you can actually justify making it like this. So you see, the game is in the open world, spawns you back to the state of the world it was with your last hit. So before your death, everything stays. Your ammo stays the same. The health bars of the zombies stay the same. Fine. But the problem is that it doesn't really work as intended, because in the missions there are sequences that will completely reset your arsenal, but there are also some that not. So you, for an example, let's say you're in the middle of the fight and you manage to break each of your weapon, and you have no weapons whatsoever, and there is no workbench inside. So you're spawning back and you have no weapons before the fight. So the only thing that I discovered is to turn off the game and turn it on back. Then the stuff is going to reset your whole ammunition, your whole like hammers and stuff like this. Probably going back to menu, maybe it would work, maybe it wouldn't. I just was like, I'm not giving this game a chance to override the save point that it made already, so I didn't go to the save point. I just decided to forcefully close the game and continue after turning on the game again. Also, something that I discovered, also another trick, you can pick up every ammo from the area, start the fight, get killed, respawn, and pick the ammo again, and you have double the ammo. But you're not going to collect your, for an example, hammer durability, because it's something that you can't do without a workbench. So if you're going to be fighting the hordes of zombies and you die 10 times during one fight, that is 10 times you're going to reset the game to be even able to play. If you don't want to backtrack like a whole fucking level back to the closest workbench, because it is just impossible to do with zombies constantly spawning on your way, because the game doesn't end spawning zombies for some reason. So yeah, checkpoint system in the game also doesn't work on the other ways. For an example, let's say you're in the mall and you fight the zombies and you die, but you're close to the right side of the mall. You're really like right next to the wall. The game is going to spawn you in the alley outside of the mall because this is the closest spawn point the game has registered. It doesn't detect the building in the way. It's going to spawn you outside. And if you die in the alley, then they may be, for an example, going to spawn you on the third floor of the mall. And this happens constantly. One time when I was not recording the gameplay in the metro, when I was playing the side content, for some reason the game decided, when I died in the corridor, it decided to spawn me 2 rooms forward and like 2 levels down. So I had to escape from the bunch of enemies, climb onto the boxes, and go back to the corridor that I was in. In the meantime, the game decided to erase any indication where I should be for the main mission. I had to memorize it because I was trying to get it from the map. I was trying to look at the map and was like, okay, where the fuck is the room that I was in before I died? Because right now I'm 2 rooms forward and I have no knowledge when I was supposed to be. This is how the checkpoint system operates in this game, and it's just broken and it doesn't work. So again, like the game overall, it's like the gore, the damage to the bodies of zombies, stuff like this is amazing. There is some B in the game from the original game, and they treat the Dead Island and Dead Island Riptide as actually canon things, and I am really happy with it. But this game actually went nowhere, and I had some fun with it, but then it started to be boring. It started to drag, and I just wanted to finish. And then I decided that I'm going to make a platinum, because I have this thing that if I really don't like your game, I'm going to make a platinum. It is kind of confusing, because if I love your game, I'm going to make a platinum, but if I am really like hate your game, I'm also going to make a platinum, because I hate your game. And I really hated the game. After 5 hours of playtime, I got to the point of this game, I have to finish it. And then so I have to finish the platinum, and I like, yeah, it just happens. It just happens. Would I recommend this game? That's really a hard question, because the game costs $70. It is not a cheap game, and it shouldn't cost $70 because it feels like it's a decade-old game, and it's not a terrible game. It is not terrible game. It is tiring game. It is not good. It is not bad. It is mid. It sits in the middle. You can have fun in the game, But yeah. Also, the game has a co-op. I managed to play some co-op. In the co-op, the game is way more accessible. It doesn't have this difficulty level. It feels like it doesn't adjust difficulty level to the number of players in the lobby. So we are playing in the three in the lobby, and the game was really easy. There is no difficulty settings for the game whatsoever. We were playing in the three guys. The bodies were flying because the game is buggy as hell. But yeah, like every game in the co-op is going to be fun. Like there's no way. Like you're going to turn on the shittiest game you can possibly imagine, and it's going to be fun with friends or with randos sometimes. But this game, if you want to play solo, I don't know, but if you play in co-op, it feels too easy, and it doesn't feel like it readjusts the level to the amount of people that are playing in the lobby. That's just it. So if you want to pick it up, I would wait for a sale, 20, maybe 30 bucks. Don't pick it up at 70 because it's not worth it. It's not worth the headache, and then when you are finally going to be like, oh, this game is dog shit, you're not going to feel like you wasted a lot of money. But the way to go is actually cancel for this game, because you can finish it and you can sell it. There is nothing to do in the game, and every side quest is basically go here, pick me this, go here, pick me this, and everyone in the game, every character in the game's world treats this apocalypse of the zombies like it's a fun time and everything is fucking amazingly chill. And I just don't buy it. I just don't buy it. I prefer more serious tone of original Dead Island. It was still fun and kind of silly, but took itself seriously. And even if you were supposed to go and, I don't know, bring the girl teddy bear, it was really like dark because she was on the floor shaking and probably having a panic attack. That's why she wanted Teddy. In here, you have to kick the zombies off the pier because it is going to be a fucking amazing thing for YouTube. Fuck, that's all for me. And comment, like, subscribe. And this is a mid game. Bye.